Imagine having your buttons pushed for hours, days, or maybe weeks. Then they hit the record button. The moment you finally snap, suddenly, you look like the aggressor. You may have reacted by destroying your own phone, slamming doors, or yelling to the point where you felt so out of control, you no longer recognize yourself. That's not who you are. That's reactive abuse, and it's exactly what toxic people want. It's a manipulation tactic they use to ruin your reputation. I lived through it myself, and I'll share that story with you a little later. But first, let's break down what reactive abuse really is and why it's so dangerous. Welcome to another episode of Thriver the Survivor. My name is Eddie, and I share my experiences surviving toxic and manipulative people. I don't do this with sympathy. I do this because someone out there needs to hear this for guidance. Maybe even you. Reactive abuse happens when, over time, someone who's been pushed, provoked, and manipulated for far too long finally snaps back. To the outside world, it might look like aggression, but in reality, it's a defensive reaction to nonstop gaslighting, reputational threats, or emotional abuse. What makes this reaction so dangerous is that after prolonged manipulation, the victim may lash out in frustration, either verbally or physically. That's when the abuser can flip the script, making the victim look like the aggressor, and in some cases, the abuser. Not every toxic person operates the same. Some may trigger outbursts without deeper planning, while others, like the covert narcissist, carefully orchestrates situations to keep you off balance. And that's when the damage cuts even deeper. As mentioned, not every toxic person has a disorder, but some patterns come from deeper dysfunction. We're talking about the borderline traits, antisocial traits, and especially narcissistic traits. At the center of this trap is the covert narcissist, the one who hides behind a calm, polite, endearing mask while running their little demolition game on you in private. Why? Because the moment you explode, they've already won. Because your reaction becomes the story, not their manipulation. So let's break down some of the tactics that drive people into reactive abuse. These are the pressure points covert narcissists use to push out a character. Gaslighting. When they rewrite reality so often, you start questioning your memory, even your own sanity. The emotional stress from their constant twisting and bending of the truth builds until you had enough. You shout, you lash out, you react, just to be heard. In that moment, your raised voice isn't about aggression. It's about a desperate attempt to defend the truth, to anchor yourself in reality while they try to pull you away from it. You're not screaming out of cruelty, but out of survival, trying to protect your mind from being erased. And that's the moment they flip the script. Suddenly, you're the problem. They'll throw lines at you like, "You have serious issues," or "See, this is why nobody can deal with you." And sometimes, there's even a darker twist. A silent witness in the room, their recording device, ready to capture only your reaction, never their relentless provocation. Proof for others that you're unstable while their manipulation stays hidden. Ghosting. This might be one of those moments they start a fight out of the blue. Then they vanish the moment you need clarity the most. With you out of the way, they're free to chase new supply, entertain current supply, or even recycle an old one. In plain terms, they're likely cheating on you. You just don't know it yet. That's exactly why they need you out of the picture, for now. Each day of silence twists your thoughts into knots, leaving you desperate for answers. By the time they finally reappear, you're drowning in confusion. And the moment you demand the truth, they flip the script. Suddenly, you're the argumentative one, the crazy one, or the forgetful one. They'll even invent a story to cover up the tracks, like claiming they told you of a word-of-mouth invitation to an event that never actually happened, something you can't possibly prove or disprove. And if you press for clarity, they turn it back on you again, accusing you of being too controlling. The pressure builds until you snap. Not because you're unstable, but because the constant gaslighting and blame shifting has pushed you past your limit. Maybe you slam a door, maybe you throw something, maybe you break your own belongings. Anything to release the emotional pain they've cornered you into. future faking. It's the covert narcissist's favorite trick. They don't just sell you a dream, they make you live for it. But the dream was never real, and by the time you realize it, years of your life are gone. It starts with the promise of marriage, kids, stability, a forever home. They don't just say it, they make it feel real. So real, you begin building your life around these promises, believing you're safe, believing it's love. But the future never arrives. Every time you ask, the goalposts move. They might say things like, "Not yet, let's just travel," or "When things calm down," or "Once I'm ready." And when you question it, they turn it onto you. "Why are you pressuring me? Don't you trust me?" Then after 4, 10, maybe even 15 years, now you're doubting yourself instead of them. Eventually, the cracks show, and you confront them. You say things like, "You promised," or "Where is it?" That's when the mask slips. Instead of honesty, they twist it. "You're too demanding. You're the problem." Or they'll pull out the most ridiculous excuse out of thin air. Something like, "You never bought me flowers." After years of promises, marriage, kids, forever, you finally snap. You yell, you call them out, and instantly they flip it. "You see, you're unstable. This is why I can't commit." To outsiders, you look unhinged while they stay calm, cool, and even play the victim. That's the trap of reactive abuse. Because here's the truth, they never intended to give you that future. The promises weren't about love. They were about control. Future faking was their way of keeping you hooked, feeding on your time, your energy, and your soul. And when you finally react, they use your explosion to justify walking away clean. That's how a covert narcissist steals your years of your life, while convincing everyone else you were the problem. Triangulation. It's one of the covert narcissist's most dangerous games. They drag in a third person, a friend, an ex, even a sibling. Not for love, but to provoke jealousy, confusion, and anger. And the moment you react, they step back, calm, and untouchable, while you look unhinged. That's how triangulation turns into reactive abuse. They create the fire and act innocent while you burn. But hold on, it can get a little trickier. Sometimes, the third person isn't who you think. A female covert narcissist might lean into a close female friend. Late night chats, cryptic photos, secretive closeness. It's subtle, just suspicious enough to make a partner uneasy, yet very difficult to prove unless you catch it in the act. That doubt, that's the trap. Triangulation doesn't just keep you off balance. That ambiguity gives them endless supply of attention, validation, control, and the thrill of watching you become a clueless detective while they stay calm, untouchable, and even above suspicion. In my next video, we'll look at how covert narcissists, especially the female kind, use attraction and subtle triangulation to keep supply flowing, even while they're in a relationship or right at the discard. If you ever felt uneasy about this so-called bestie, you know, the one close enough to raise eyebrows, just vague enough to deny, or wondered why your gut screamed something was off, this next one will connect the dots. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You would not want to miss this one. So back to the topic. There was a time I found myself in a moment of reactive abuse with a covert narcissist. I was trying to have a serious conversation with this toxic person, but she stayed glued to her phone, focused on a good friend rather than being present. After several ignored attempts to get her attention, I snapped. My hand lifted instinctively toward the phone, just out of frustration before I pulled back. But here's the thing, even though I never grabbed the phone, cameras caught that moment, and suddenly I was seen as the aggressor. What those cameras didn't show were the hours of me being ignored, devalued, and gaslit that led up to that point. So again, this is exactly what reactive abuse looks like. Being pushed to your breaking point by someone else's manipulation, then having your natural reaction twisted into a story of aggression. So remember, your reaction is their reward. When you snap, they don't panic. They're satisfied. Because now they can say, you see, look how unstable they are. They gain sympathy, control the narrative, and walk away calm, while you're left broken, confused, and drained. And too often, people believe them. So if you ever yelled, cursed, slammed, or even broken something out of frustration, that doesn't make you abusive. It makes you human under unbearable pressure. I'm not excusing it. I'm stating facts. For men, society says anger makes you dangerous. And for the women, society says anger makes you crazy. Both male and female covert narcissists exploit those stereotypes to destroy your reputation while protecting their own image. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and help others find it too. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay grounded, stay strong, and keep thriving.